Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, colleagues, friends, and I want to add my warm welcome to Gugu to this B20 South Africa event. Sanbonani. For those of you whose isiZulu is still a work in progress, I've simply said hello. Well, almost. You see, Sanbonani in Zulu accurately means, I see you, I acknowledge you. And so this is how, when we meet, we always greet whoever we find, whether we know them or not, simply because I'm acknowledging there's another human next to me. We are absolutely thrilled to see so many of you from far and wide present in the room, in Joburg, in person, despite the rains of biblical proportions that we've had in the last few days. As Gugu said, you've brought us some sunshine for a nice change. Imagine that. What you will find is that today's Africa is anchored in very old traditions of hospitality, of openness, and in a profound humanism that begins with that commitment to see one another clearly and as we truly are, not as our hopes or fears or preconceived notions would have us see. I think we can all agree that the performance we had on stage absolutely gave you the visual representation of the kind of diversity and humanism that you will find in Africa today. At the same time, though, Africa is a continent of dynamism, of invention, innovation even, and growth. The world simply cannot meet its future goals, its sustainability goals, its digital transformation goals without this continent. We've said it many times, but it bears repeating. We have the largest future workforce, the richest endowment in renewable resources, the next generation and the next great frontier of digitization and industrialization. Now you'll see both of these Africas in front of you over the next 2 days, the warmly traditional and the dynamically future-focused side by side over the next 2 days, and we see absolutely no conflict between those two. The fact that you could hear Nesum Dorama sung with the African drum just tells you everything you need to know. But we're equally conscious of who's in the room today. The G20 economies generate upwards of 80% of global GDP and generate 90% of the world's employment. The private sector is the connective tissue that makes that happen. It translates the resources, the talent, the technology, and the natural endowments into real work, real prosperity, and human flourishing. We think it's fair to say that the B20 is not a side stream to the G20. We are its bloodstream. Colleagues, friends, if you were present when South Africa was handed the baton from Brazil last year in Sao Paulo, you would then recall that my co-chair, Mxolisi Mgojo, made 3 pledges. Well, I'm here today to make an honest man out of him, because I want to tell you that we've actually met those 3 pledges. First, that we would not be the authors and the habitants of unnecessary reinvention and would be faithful stewards to the work of previous B20 presidencies. Well, the proof of the pudding is in the papers that we've presented. You would show that they show punctiliously precisely how our recommendations emerge from, engage with, and seek to extend the work that has gone before B20 South Africa. You will see, for example, in our papers that we have tables that explicitly demonstrate the links between the proposals that we put forward, this year's recommendations, and the previous KPIs that have been put before. If anything, we have just fine-tuned the implementability, because we did also say this would be an action-oriented B20, but I ran ahead of myself. His second pledge was we would run an inclusive and representative B20. I submit the proof is all around you. We are honored today to be joined by business people from every single continent in the world, every sector of industry. And I'm also pleased to report that the leadership of B20 South Africa and each task force leadership achieved the 50-50 gender balance we sought to achieve. And as I said, the third pledge was that we would run an action-oriented B20. Clearly, the proof will emerge over the next months, years, etc., but I can confidently predict that the recommendations we're putting forward come not with rhetorical fluff, but with very, very specific KPIs. With those promises in mind, we chose the theme to guide us, which Gugu has already spoken about: inclusive growth and prosperity through global cooperation. We chose it deliberately, not as a slogan, but as a practical commitment. Indeed, in many respects, Africa is already a world leader in cooperation. The AfCFTA, or African Continental Free Trade Area, of which you'll hear mentioned many times over the next 2 days, is among the most ambitious integration projects in the world today. Not because it's easy, not because the work is anywhere near complete, but because the strategic logic is overwhelming. As Africans, we understand that our future depends on opening to one another, and that actually we haven't done so much to our detriment. Now, South Africa is no utopia. We have our fair share of difficulties. Some could argue a bit more than our fair share, having taken over the B20 and G20 in a year such as 2025 will be one of them. So some are serious, some are structural, very many self-inflicted. But we also have great strengths. We have a deep instinct for principled multilateralism, for the rule of law, and for deliberation. You could argue sometimes a little too much deliberation. But as our history and our present show, the one thing we're really good at, and that the world really urgently needs today, is the ability to build consensus out of what might seem at first glance to be irreconcilable differences. We don't pretend that governments can always do this, and we hope the G20 will arrive at such a consensus over the next few days, and that we will work tirelessly to help the process along. But business is different, and in many ways, the B is easier than the G. What we have seen in this year is business people of all stripes coming together in this most challenging and challenged of times in a mutually respectful, friendly dialogue to seek and achieve consensus. Not because we are saints as business people, but because of the deep industrial logic of commerce itself. And if we can take that forward and defend that in this environment, we will all win, because we are drawn to cooperate within fair, rule-bound systems. We all know that business thrives where trust, predictability, and openness exist. And that is what, in essence, B20 South Africa has sought to reinforce over the course of the past year. I want to just quickly, as I come to close, just reaffirm the principled multilateralism I just referred to in touching on energy transition. It came through that we want this to be principled, to be just. We have highlighted critical minerals as the next area of industrialization and innovation. We've talked about disaster resilience, but if this B20 will be known for nothing else, it was putting debt sustainability on the map. Finally, we hope, that we have put forward practical, pragmatic themes that can be followed through irrespective of who takes over the B20 as we move ahead. And that we have demonstrated in our papers how effective public, private, and philanthropic partnerships can move markets forward and include not only the people in this room, but be very conscious about the inclusion of women and SMEs. So, in the spirit of realism, hopefully that's come through our papers. I hope that carries through over the next couple of days. I hope everybody finds themselves in conversations that are enriching and that are energizing and leaves us all feeling as energetic as the dancers that started our B20. I wish you all a really productive and successful summit. Thank you.